Welcome back to the Whiskey Couch with me, Gustav Miller, as your host. I must say I am really enjoying the review of these Age of Discovery bottlings from Glenfiddich. It is really a highlight for me. I've already reviewed the Madeira cask and the Bourbon cask reserve, and in this video I am going to review the 19-year-old Glenfiddich Age of Discovery red wine cask. Red wine cask, 19-year-old. And the interesting part is that these two that I've got here is the European version, bottled at 40% ABV, alcohol by volume, whereas this one that I did first is the South African version at 43%. And I must say I do wish that I had all three in the South African version, because I do prefer the 43% alcohol by volume. But let me not get ahead of myself. Let's talk about the distillery. Glenfiddich Distillery, founded way back in 1886 by William Grant, owned by William Grant and Sons, situated in the Speyside region, Scotland, Lowlands, Highlands, and there is the Speyside region in the northern Highland of Scotland, the region with the highest concentration whiskey distilleries in the world. That is where Glenfiddich is situated. Glenfiddich, one of the very few private family-owned distilleries out there. And for many, many years, since the 1960s, up till 3 years ago, the biggest single malt producer and seller in the world. They were also the first distillery to open a visiting center in 1969, if I'm not mistaken. I do have an appreciation and a respect for Glenfiddich Distillery. I think they have achieved quite a bit over the years. I've already poured myself a dram before I started the video, because for a 19-year-old, you have to let it stand for a while just to settle and to breathe. So this particular 19-year-old, the red wine cask, matured in red wine casks from South America. Finished in red wine casks from South America, bottled at 40%, and there's a bit of information on this beautiful gift box. This one, of course, launched in honor of the 1931 voyage of HMS Beagle and its famous passengers, including Charles Darwin. So it's all about the sea explorers. And you can see that depicted in the graphics right around this gift box. That's probably the ships that they're talking about. And the 1931 voyage of this ship and all its exploring passengers. And they've got the whole story here on the inside. What a beautiful box. But at the back it says here, rich gold with a hint of ruby. In terms of the color, rich gold with a hint of ruby. And then what can we expect on the nose? Toasted marshmallow, red berries, vanilla, oak, tannin, ripe fruits, and a hint of woody spice. On the palate, spicy notes. On first taste, deep and smooth with velvety sweetness, rich oaky notes and berry sweetness, and the finish, sweet with long lingering tannins. I seldom agree with all the information on the gift boxes and on the websites of the distilleries, but that is one thing that I do like about whiskey tasting and whiskey reviews, because it always remains very subjective, and each one has got his own experience and is on his own adventure with regards to whiskey tasting and the review. So let's see what I get today on this whiskey. It was a limited release, of course, originally for the retail travel market, and it's getting very rare So if you can pick up one of these, you are quite fortunate, but very expensive for a 19-year-old. In the US, between 110 and 170 US dollars. In the UK, around 100 plus pounds. And here in South Africa, between 2 and 3,000 rand. All three of these whiskies has got the most exquisite noses. They just invite you to dive in and take a sip. So I agree with the toasted marshmallows and the vanilla. That I agree with. The red berries, I'm not. Dark berries. Dark ripe berries. Ripe fruits. I'm not getting wood spices on the nose. But I am getting apples and honey. That's what I'm getting on the nose. Red wine casks from South America. Just sort of a hint of wine cask influence, but much less than I expected, I must say. I'm so glad I let it stand for a while, because it got an opportunity to open up a little bit. The spicy notes are definitely there, that I agree with. It's rich. Wine cask tannins, you can pick that up. There is a sweetness, but it's a dark ripe berry and plum sweetness that I'm getting on the palate. In all three of these Age of Discovery whiskies, the palate does not give you what the nose promised. That is a tendency that I picked up on all three of these. Vanilla, chocolate, pepper. The red wine cask influence, much less than what I expected. The finish is short to medium long. The tannins are sort of lingering. It's warming. And there is a faint sweetness that is in the finish of this whiskey. 40% ABV, so just 2 drops of water. Just 2 drops of water. If it was a cask strength, then you can add much more water, but with only 40%, candied berries now appear. Candied berries. And much less spiciness, and the nose just gets better and better. A drop or 2 of water is the answer there. It is as if a drop or 2 of water just gives the balance. The spiciness is not overpowering anymore. There's a balance between the sweetness and the spiciness. If I have to summarize this whiskey in 3 words: rich, fruity, and spicy. That's my summary for this whiskey. If you want to pair the 19-year-old Age of Discovery red wine cask, where the red wine cask influence is really very tiny. If you want to pair this with a food snack, I would go for a fruity chocolate. Raspberry truffle can work. Lint, strawberry intense. I am going to try a blueberry chocolate, but the chocolate covering this blueberry is a honey. It says here, a raw honey chocolate. And I have got a suspicion that it is going to pair quite well with the fruitiness and the chocolate notes that I am picking up in this whiskey's flavored profile. Let's see if it works. The berry, the dark berry with the honey chocolate. This is really a good pairing. The other two, the Madeira and the bourbon cask pairings, was like a 4.5 out of 5. This one, very good. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. And out of the 3 whiskies, I prefer the bourbon cask reserve. That is my favorite out of these 3 19-year-old age of discovery whiskies from Glenfiddich. Thank you for watching. An invitation from my side to share this video with your friends, and I'll see you again soon. More whiskey tasting, whiskey reviews, and whiskey and food pairings to come. Slàinte.